presentation. Connor is preparing the hemp pre-rolls. We grow hemp here on the farm with the University of Morgan State University, and we are also selling some of our products there at the first stand. So we're so happy that you came out on this gorgeous day to be a part of Honey's Harvest Farm. So we now consider all of you friends and family, and we welcome you back anytime you want to come. So a little bit about the farm while we're waiting for amplification so we can get to the thing we're all here for, which is sweet potatoes. So this farm is a permaculture farm. Has anybody ever heard of the word permaculture? Raise your hand if you've heard of permaculture. Okay. So if you have, you might know what it means, but if you haven't, let's take a guess. Like perma and culture. Anybody have any idea what that could mean? Permaculture. Yes, that's part of permaculture. It's perennial. It's regenerative. It's more permanent. It comes back year after year after year. So when we break the word apart, it's like a more permanent culture. So we aim to create something that will be here for all of us to enjoy and for all of our future generations to enjoy. So we're looking for regenerative ag. So if you look out in these fields, you can see there are about 10,000 native trees planted out there, the majority of which are fruit and nut-bearing trees. So those are already producing. That's a program that the DNR of Maryland offers, and that program is free. It's absolutely free, and everyone is eligible for it. So we would love to tell you more about that if you're interested. So we will have more workshops where we can go out in those fields and we can harvest, and you can take the food home with you. And so we expect that over the next 10, 15 years, there will be so much food out there that's called food abundance. And so you'll be able to come back and pick fresh, local, native food. So we're really excited about that. And sweet potatoes, the reason we're here, are really important, an important part of this farm, because they love the soil that we grow. So our number one crop here is what? Sweet potatoes. Soil! We grow more soil than anything else. So if you come to the farm on a Sunday, when we have our nature walks and our farm tours, you'll see where we grow our soil. We try not to ever till unless we're doing a research project for a university. Other than that, we're building our soil so that we have living soil. So what that means is the soil in these gardens all around you that produce all fruits and nuts and herbs and plants is alive. It has fungal material and it has bacteria. And you want to balance that out to create something that actually feeds the plants. So the sweet potatoes in the ground over here, they love the fungus and the bacteria, and they actually feed it half of its food that it makes from photosynthesis, which is sugar. It takes the carbon dioxide and it turns it into sugar. And then it shares its sugar with the bacteria and the fungal material in the soil, the fungus in the soil. Why would it give away half of its sugar? Why would it possibly do that? Would you give away half of your sugar? Yes. No. So it gives it to the fungal material and the bacteria because those little tiny microorganisms go deep down into the soil and they eat the nutrients that the plant can't get to. And then they poop it out because there's so much nutrients. And that's what the sweet potato plant actually eats. So they have a symbiotic relationship. They love each other. They share their sugar. They share their food. And we know we can't live without food. So if you're willing to share your food, you must really love each other. And that's how it works. So we grow soil. So the sweet potato is really an awesome plant because not only can you eat its roots, but you can also eat its leaves. The leaves are completely edible and they have more nutrients in them than spinach. So when they're nice and fresh and young, you can saute the greens and they have a wonderful flavor. A little salt, pepper, a little olive oil, a fantastic side dish of vegetables. So the roots, of course, you can do all kinds of things with. So you're seeing that today. Hopefully you're trying all the great food. And then the trick to growing them is so easy. Look, here's a heron. A blue heron just flying over. So there probably were eagles out here earlier. Oh look, he landed right in the field. I don't know what he's doing out there. There's no water. That's pretty cool. So anyway, so the sweet potatoes that we have here on the farm today are the Stokes purple, which are purple on the outside and purple on the inside. And then we have the Beauregards, which are going to be a smaller tuber than this, but they're going to be the traditional orange color. And then we also have Japanese, which are a beautiful magenta on the outside and a white on the inside. And those are super, super sweet. So once you harvest your potatoes, you need to cure them. And they like to be cured for at least 2 weeks. And what happens when they're cured? They get sweeter. Exactly. So the starches inside the potato are turning to sugar. And they like to be in a hot, humid location when they cure. And then after they cure, you want to put them in a dry location so they can hold as long as possible and not grow roots. In the spring, we have sweet potato workshops where we help you set up your soil. Right here on the farm, you can take all the materials you need, and you can take the plant, you get free plants with the workshop, and then you can grow sweet potatoes on your own. And it's really fun because they're easy to grow as long as you have the soil that they like. You don't have to do anything else to them. You might water them 2 or 3 times in the very beginning, and that's it. So, did anyone see the video of the sweet potato experiment that we did on the farm in 2018? No? Anybody see it? You saw it?
Well, it's like it really expands over time.
Yes. So, when you grow your soil, my son in 2018 did an experiment. He took a 4-foot by 4-foot area and he layered it the way we build our soil, which is basically all free inputs. You take your yard clippings, you take your leaves, you take some soil, you take your horse manure or whatever you can get a hold of, some livestock manure. Food scraps are great. If you can't get manure, food scraps. And you can get free wood chips from the side of the road. The guys on the side of the road, they'll dump you a whole load of wood chips. Or you can come here and get some. Might be easier. And then you just layer that and you let it sit. And you do it this time of year and you let it sit. So he did a 4x4 area, smaller than where I am right here on this table. And he put 1 sweet potato plant in it. In May. You want to plant them by about mid-May, May 15th. The average sweet potato plant in a production farm grows 2 to 4 pounds of sweet potatoes. How many pounds do you think he got out of this one little area? 10 to 12? 25. 25.
100.
100.
It's 4x4 cubic feet.
Yes, it's 4x4. That's right. He got 90 pounds of sweet potatoes out of that one plant. So you can grow food for your family in a 4x4 area that would last you all winter long, almost 100 pounds of sweet potatoes. And as it turned out, he probably did have 100 because the further out we went off of the mound, they grew in the regular soil. They just kept going. So they want to grow. One of the things that we do when we harvest here, when we plant here, is we thank the plant for the nutrition. We thank the earth for providing this soil, and we just feel very grateful. So when we first planted hemp the first year, we even sang to them and played the singing bowls to our seeds because we really wanted them to grow. So if you help me harvest today in one of these gardens, when you're pulling those potatoes out of the ground or pulling the vines out of the ground, then you want to thank it. You can thank it under your breath, you can thank it to yourself, but we always feel so grateful because we're so lucky to be able to eat all this bounty, this beautiful food from the earth. So that's all we ask for, is that we respect the land that grows the food, we respect the plant who gave us life so we could eat and be nourished, and we remember that all of this and all of us are all together in this. We're all together, we're all connected, right? You hear that all the time. It couldn't be anything farther from not the truth. It is the truth. They are all connected. So when we get over there to that, we're starting over here. I think that's where our sweet potato forks are. And I think unless they dug it up, I identified where we can find a mother plant. And then we're going to move over to this berm. So if you want to, wait until the crowd dies down and just wait, I'll be digging for the rest of the day. We have plenty of sweet potatoes to dig. And I want to tell you, there's something else that you can try. Right over here, there's a plant called the toothache plant, or Spilanthes. And it's a little yellow flower. Some of them look a little bit different, but it's like a little button flower. It is completely edible. It is medicinal. It literally is antibacterial and numbing to your mouth. So if you eat one, you can swallow it, or you can spit it out if you don't like the flavor, but you can chew it, and it will numb your whole mouth for about 10 or 15 minutes. If you actually have bacteria or an infection, it's antibacterial. So it literally will clear up an infection. And if you have a toothache, just take a few flowers home with you and chew them for the night until you can get to the dentist. It's good medicine, good stuff. Does anybody have any questions? Can anybody tell me the nutritional benefits of the sweet potato? Fiber.
Vitamin E.
Vitamin E.
Vitamin A.
Vitamin A. Beta carotene. Protein. It has vitamin C. And the fiber is really good for digestion. And they also say, and my son always says, but Mom, everything that's from the soil that's alive is good for you. But guess what? It's anti-what? Anti-cancer. So it's an amazing vegetable. And there's so many different flavors. Does anybody know the difference between a yam and a sweet potato? Yams are starchier. They generally have a brown skin. They are not sweet. So when you go to the grocery store and you see yam and you see what looks like an orange sweet potato, that's a misnomer. It is incorrect, but it's okay. So the yams are typically grown in the Caribbean and in Africa, and we can also grow them here. We don't often see them because they're not sweet. So we haven't been conditioned for the yam, but the yam is very good also.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes,
Have you ever heard of the Hannah yam?
yes, I have.
Where are they grown anywhere around here?
You can grow them around here. You just need to get a hold of the slips.
So have you ever seen anybody sell them?
I have not. There's one place that's not true. You could try University of Maryland, Eastern Shore. They grow all kinds of tubers over there, and they are very generous with the education and even the plant itself. So yeah. Something else I'm going to tell you about.
Anna,
Yes.
is sweet potato a pollinated plant?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Just growing in the vines and beauty.
Yes, a lot of people will use it as just landscaping plant. It's great ground cover. And if you look at the beautiful little flowers, they have bees in them all the time. So they're great for the pollinators. The pollinators love them. Yes. There's something else I can What's that? They love the sun. Sweet potatoes love the sun. Yes. Anybody have anything else? Okay. So I'm going to see if one of my friends is still here. His name is Eric. He is a permaculture guru. And he can take some people to that side. But for all of you who want to dig or to come watch, we're going to start on this side. And then I'm going to leave some people over here, and then we're going to migrate over here. One thing about digging sweet potatoes is they're everywhere. So when you use a fork, you have to be so gentle because you can just, like put your fork right through the potato, and then you have half a potato. So the ones that we have here are going to be a little bit more narrow, more like this. Some of them went to the ground a little bit late this year, so they're not going to be quite as big. Some on the other side of the farm that we grew are big like this and bigger because we put them in earlier. So,
How much land do you have in sweet potatoes?
oh geez. It's funny because I would say less than an acre, but we'll produce probably 1,000 pounds. So it's just because of the soil, and if we get them in earlier, you pretty much double that. So yeah.
Do you have any sales
question. That might have been what I was about to say. So, because we're digging our sweet potatoes now, we like to cure them before you take them home because you'll say, oh, these aren't very sweet. Well, they haven't cured yet, so we're still harvesting our potatoes, and we're going to be curing them for a minimum of 2 weeks. We've already started curing some, so we will have some next Sunday at the market from 11 to 2 on Sunday. However, we will have plenty for Thanksgiving. So if you come the Sunday before Thanksgiving, we'll have plenty. And we should have them through the winter as well.